Great. Welcome everyone to the RevTech Summit. We're excited to have everyone here. I'm Jenny Young and I run marketing at Signals. Signals eliminates the information gaps between buyers and sellers by tracking and analyzing digital behaviors across websites, social platforms, and reviews to identify and market buyers. Our AI-powered platform automates outreach, engages prospects with intelligent cloud and agent, and enables marketing and sales teams to focus on high-value interactions. If you want to learn more, check us out at getsignals.ai. I'm excited to welcome everyone to our first event of 2025. RevTech isn't just another event. It's where the biggest names of revenue technology come together and share game-changing insights. We're diving into the most pressing topics shaping the future of revenue, including AI-driven sales and automation breakthroughs. And of course, with the 2025 RevTech Summit, we have some awards to celebrate. We would like to recognize 68 of some of the most influential leaders in the industry, chosen from over 1,200 community votes. These people are selected by the community and voted on by the community. After our keynote, we'll kind of recognize all of the award winners. So just to kind of kick us off with RevTech, we really want to help you discover the effective ways to drive that growth through sales and marketing automations. And to start us off, we'll hear from our keynote, Dave Elkington. After him, he will be followed by Braden Young and Chris Rudegrab, who are the co-founders of Sendoso, as they present their keynote, the 15 AI GTM predictions for 2025. They'll share their vision for how AI and new tools will reshape go-to-market strategies in the year ahead. The keynotes will run 30 minutes each, followed by our live session featuring incredible speakers. So stay tuned, or if you want to see the full lineup, join us on LinkedIn or go to revtechsummit.com. If live sessions aren't your thing, we also have pre-recorded sessions available on demand, and all registrants can access this information after today. We're really excited to bring this event to you, and we would love your feedback. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. Tell us what you think, share what resonated with you, and let us know which speakers you'd love to see at future events. So up next, like I said, we have Dave Elkington. He's going to be sharing some insights into what challenges sellers and marketers are facing. And probably you're going to want to wish that you had embraced AI sooner. AI is really here to help transform sales and move it along faster. And there's a lot of really exciting things that Dave will touch on. So I'm going to go ahead and get Dave on our live stream and make sure we're all ready to go with his session.
Give me one moment. Hey.
I'll go ahead and add them in.
I'm trying to see if I can add them. I'm just going to share my screen.
Yep.
Got it.
Great. Can you see?
All right. Can you guys see?
Great. Over to you, Dave. I'll let you get started.
Got it. Are you able to see my screen here?
Yep.
Got it. Okay. Well, look, welcome everybody. I'm very excited to be presenting here today to this audience. It's an amazing audience. It's one of the largest sales and marketing technology events in kind of the industry right now. Excuse me. So I want to talk about a little bit of a provocative and maybe even uncomfortable topic where the question is the sales and marketer getting replaced by robots? And so there's this obvious rise of AI and rise of robots happening in the industry today. And it's I think there's a lot of debate. Will AI replace humans? Will it not replace humans? In fact, ironically, even this week, there is I think some companies are celebrating, BDRs, and some companies are saying BDRs and AEs and salespeople and marketers will never be replaced. And I want to challenge that. So let's start by looking at what's the current state, like what's the real state of the sales and marketing industry today. And just to be very blunt, we have mass inefficiency happening in the market. There's insane spend. This is the largest spend in sales and marketing, I think, in global history. I mean, you probably saw some of the Super Bowl costs associated with 30 seconds, but just broadly, just in the B2B ad spend space, it's over $50 billion of spend. Now that sounds, and by the way, that was a conservative number. We chose to not do the other numbers that were like starting with a T, right? Like trillions of dollars of spend. If you aggregate a lot of the B2C spend it's just, there's an insane amount of budget being spent in sales and marketing today. The challenge with that is the handoff between sales and marketing is actually really, really inefficient. So, and those of you who know my history, I've been involved in the SDR and the BDR industry creation. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But, if you look at the handoff of all of that demand generation, especially in the B2B space, you're actually handing it to the most inexperienced sellers, people in the sales and marketing stack. It's the SDR or the BDR. A BDR is the entry level role in the sales kind of ecosystem. And generally speaking, a BDR starts that job in order to get out of that job. A BDR wants to become an AE and ultimately an enterprise AE. So they literally are taking the job. Again, if you're a BDR and you're like, bro, I'm a lifer, like, cool, like sign me up. But you're rare. If that's what you're interested in, it's uncommon. So if you look at the cost of an average BDR, you're roughly 150 to 200K. But the decline over the last 5 years, 10 years of the tenure of that BDR went from 4+ years down to basically a year or under. Now that still doesn't sound terrible, except when you look at some of the data. So if you look at behind what's happening in that data, you're saying, okay, if I have a 12-month tenure, I have, let's call it a 3 to 6 month ramp. At best, I have, let's say, 9 months of productivity, of ramped capacity. But then the other key data point is at most 60% of those BDRs are hitting their numbers. So like 40% are really largely not producing much at all. So what does that mean? This means that this inefficiency in sales and marketing will ultimately lead to you being at risk. And so I think that's the fear. So if you look at some of the stats here, from McKinsey and Gartner and Forrester and Goldman, over 300 million jobs are going to be replaced by 2030 by AI. And let's look at the sales jobs. So it's anticipated that 60% of sales responsibility or tasks will be handled by AI, and 35% of US, or 38% of US, or 35% of sales jobs will be replaced. So here's what this is telling you. You are at risk. There's a lot of people who are saying, people won't be replaced by AI. Jobs are going to be replaced by AI. There's no question. And so let's look at some of the history of this. So I founded a company 20 years ago called InsideSales.com. We raised a ton of money, and we basically went through a very similar disruption, I would say, in the industry, where sales previous to InsideSales.com was largely done person to person. I mean, it was either telemarketing, which is kind of not considered enterprise sales, excuse me, or it was enterprise sales or field sales. So it was very in-person, high touch, high value, meaningful relationships. And we used technology, we used automation to create increased productivity based off of really mostly automation, and we were using some AI and correlation. So many of you on this call will recognize we did a Harvard Business School study where we looked at like how to be better over the phone. And just in essence, if I'm a field sales rep and I'm on the road, I'm in a plane, and I'm trying to go do meetings with people, I can do one a day. Maybe if I really schedule things, I can get 2 meetings a day. But oftentimes I'll get 1 or 2 a week, just because of the inherent nature of just being on the road. Well, when we introduced InsideSales.com, we basically facilitated it where people were doing 5+ meetings a day. They were largely done over the phone. And we created this study where it's like, okay, when's the best time to call? We found that if you respond to web leads within like minutes, you are massively more effective than waiting hours or even days. We found things like, I think it was Wednesday and Thursday had something like a 60% higher contact rate if you called then, MQLs versus Monday and Friday and so forth. Again, many of you will recognize this study. Well, Inside Sales, as they went through this transition of going from an in-person sales approach to an automated sales approach using things like Zoom and cadence tools like what Inside Sales helped bring around. Inevitably, a ton of people. We got lots of haters. People said, "Oh, you're ruining the sales industry. You're ruining relationships." But you also have to understand this was not a sales transition. This is at the same time when social networks were emerging and people went from a in-person, frankly, higher impact interaction to online interactions. Again, Facebook was created in this sort of time frame. Again, all the cadence tools, all of these remote tools were really, emerged in this time frame. Well, about 5 to maybe 8 years ago, this concept of Copilot started to replace the automation phase of society, where we were just doing more in the same time we had. And that's really what Inside Sales did. And frankly, that's what this whole automation phase, it allowed us to connect with more people in a shorter period of time, whether that's a social network connection or a sales connection. Copilot, the concept of a Copilot phase came along where it's like, okay, same number of hours in a day, but we're going to be smarter about it. And we saw Copilot really effective in like development, where AI was basically helping developers be way more effective. So same 8-hour workday, they're coding better, coding smarter. You see this, there's a lot of Copilot tools right now in the sales and marketing space where they're helping BDRs, helping marketers, helping demand gen reps do what they do better. And it's like, these are all good phases, but these phases, the transition between each of these phases are actually becoming shorter. And so we're now entering this new phase of agentic AI. And it really has become a huge buzzword in the last really 30 to 45 days. But it's about 3 months is when it started to really emerge. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, came out and really espoused the next phase of humanity is this agentic AI phase. We saw Mark Benioff, he's speaking about it like all over the place, the CEO of Salesforce.com. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. And one of my favorites is a guy named Andrew Ng. I've got a quote where it basically says, AI agents, and I'll explain what these are, will become a part of our daily lives. They will basically give us time that we don't really have today. So agentic AI is a multiplying factor in your life. Automation was, we just were doing way more in a shorter amount of time. The Copilot phase was, we're doing it way smarter. This agentic phase, and again, listen for this. If you don't know this, I mean, most of you probably have heard this term. It'd be hard not to, but watch for this. This agentic phase of humanity is where it's a multiplying factor where one person can actually orchestrate these agents or robots to basically work on our behalf, which really this means we need to do less and we need to orchestrate more. So the question is the BDR going away, or is the marketer going away, or is a sales rep going away? I would wager they're not. But the way they operate today, they are. You need to stop doing more and you need to start thinking more. The scarce resource in society is going to become our ability to be creative and to think and to orchestrate these agents or these bots or these robots doing more. And so there's really 4 key elements of creating agents on your behalf and orchestrating agents on your behalf. And I stole this from a presentation that Andrew Ng gave about a couple months ago. But it starts with reflection. And it's a circular process. you reflect on a problem that you're trying to automate. So you say, hey, I could automate this process. If you already have an agent, you're going to review the previous prompts. And again, think about agentic AIs where you create a prompt that does things for you. So you reflect on the problem that you want to improve. And then you think about the tools that you can consume. So an example would be, could you create an agent that schedules meetings into your calendar? So a tool could be an API access to your calendar or to your CRM or to your billing system or to your home security system. So think about using prompts or agents to go orchestrate these tasks that you're doing on a more manual basis. And then you create a process, which is your step 3, where you are creating the sequence and say, do this, then set my appointment, then notify this person, and then go do this. So you create agents that execute these processes on your behalf, but it's dynamic. It's not static. And then the last thing is, and we're starting to, this is very new, where you have multi-agent collaboration. So one agent might be scheduling for you. Another agent might be, starting your car. Another agent might be doing this. So now so it's these 4 steps. Again, I only have about 20 minutes, so I wanted to be very high level, but there's a lot. This is very meaty. And what I'm trying to show you is what we believe the next phase of society and really the next phase of sales and marketing is going to represent. So let me give you an example. We've created at Signals a cloud BDR. We call it a cloud agent. And we actually created competitions. Now, interestingly, many of you were invited to this event by our cloud agent, Susan. So she called several thousand previous registrations to these events. So we've done these events over several years. And so if you've attended an event in the past, we always send you an email and we invite you to the next event. This time we asked Susan to go and call many of you and invite you to this event. And she represented countless registrations and countless of you registering and signing up for this event. We actually did a competition yesterday between Susan and one of our sales reps. So they both spent 5 hours to invite people and create opportunities and do what a sales rep would do. He generated one opportunity and again, he did other things in that time frame, but really was 5 hours of dialing was able to create one opportunity. Susan, the cloud agent, had 100 conversations, created 3 opportunities, and registered 7 people for the event in that one. And this is in a it was much less than 5 hours. And what was fascinating to me were some of the conversations she had. So she always introduces herself as Susan, a cloud or an AI BDR working for Signals. And then and I'm going to give you an example. We're going to try this here in just a minute, but she always introduces herself, invites people to the event. And then her ability, though, to navigate strange situations is far beyond what I think any of us expect. So I've got 4 examples. The first one is she called a person who had a Google Assistant. And typically the Google Assistant's there to filter out people that you don't want to talk to. And I would say she did a great job. But what shocked me is she called the Google Assistant. She gave her spiel, say, this is Susan. I'm an AI agent with Signals, and I'm inviting so-and-so to the RevTech Summit. The Google Assistant said, oh, that's interesting. Let me share this with so-and-so and stand by, and I'll see if he's interested in hearing this. And so she says, great. Excuse me. I'll wait, and I'll wait while you do that. Just let me know. She waits. The agent comes back and says, oh, he's not available right now, but if you can leave me a message, I can pass it on to him. So she says, great. Here's the message. We want to invite him. It's tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. It's at this time. These are the speakers. And go to this website if you have more information. So what kind of was weird is we didn't actually train her for that situation. She just figured it out. And the 2 of them, so we listened to the recording. The 2 of them had you're talking 2 agents, no humans, having a very coherent, really, it sounded like 2 people speaking. It was really fascinating. The second example is she called several front desks and said, again, this is Susan. I'm an AI agent with Signals calling for so-and-so to invite them to the event. And the front desk attendants said, oh, okay, well, hang on a second. Let me look this person up. They look them up and they go through a interaction, then, goes through to the live person. And in some, one case, invite them to the event. Another case went to the voicemail. But what's interesting is, again, she wasn't necessarily explicitly trained to navigate a front desk, and did it very effectively, very respectfully. And so she's doing it in a way that people feel like she's very open and very transparent. She's an AI agent, because you don't want to ever be deceptive. Like, I think we want to be very, very open about using these kind of tools. But at the same time, she's actually more effective than most of the BDRs that I've worked with. And another example was she called someone who was very upset, didn't know why they were getting the call, and she apologized and said, "Look, here's who I am. If this is if this is bothering you, like, we can end the conversation." And he said, "Well, tell me, And he was combative, but over about 30 seconds, it went from being combative to him being really interested and then having an interesting conversation, which was the fourth use case where this person had a 7.5 minute deep dive conversation about the event, what Signals is, about what she is. And so she's able to have a meaningful conversation. Again, you always want to be transparent about AI and never be deceptive, but it's really interesting that in each of these cases, these are cases that a human BDR would have a difficult time navigating. So let me show you. The last thing is I actually want to show you Susan in action so you can really get a sense of what she is and what she can do. I'm going to put her on speaker. Stand by. Okay. Hello?
Hi, Dave. This is Susan with Signals. I'm inviting you to our free virtual event, RevTech Summit. It's happening tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. Would you like to hear more about it?
Well, it turns out we're actually at that event right now, and you're one of the keynote presenters at this event.
Oh, that's quite the mix-up. It seems like there's been a little confusion here. I'll make sure to pass this along to the team. Thanks for letting me know, Dave. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks, Susan. So again, unprepared, unscripted, and amazingly, she handled it actually really, really well. So really kind of what I want to end with right now is, what do we do? Are we being replaced? And the answer is we're not. We have to change our job. We have to change who we are. We have to change what we're doing. So Forrester shares that AI will save professionals at least 12 hours a week by 2029. I would propose it's going to be much sooner. So what would we do with 12 hours a week? And my answer is we need to think. We need to stop doing so much. It's not about how many dials a BDR can do in a day or how many tasks we can check off our checklist anymore. We're moving to a phase of humanity where we need to be way more thoughtful, and we need to be orchestrating things that matter, that are effective, that are appropriate, that are reasonable, versus really trying to get more done. More is going to be easy. The question is, can we do it effectively? And this is going to be hard. So the challenge I would propose to everybody is we need to not worry about losing our job. What we need to worry about is how do we be better at our job? And it's harder, right? Doing stuff is easy. If we just need to sit down to a checklist of things to do, man, how easy is that? It's really difficult to come up with that checklist and make sure it's effective. It's easy to send us an email. It's hard to write that email. It's easy to call a script. It's really hard to think about how to adapt it every conversation. So what I'm hoping to convey today is we're moving to a new phase of sales and marketing, and we're moving, I believe, to a new phase of humanity where we're going to have way, way more time. The question is, what are we going to do with that time, and how do we be productive? How do we lead kind of the next generation of productivity and the next kind of phase of growth in our lives and in kind of the lives of everybody around us. So I appreciate everybody. Reach out if you have questions, if you have concerns. I'm sure I am wrong at some of these points, and so please reach out to me via LinkedIn is a good way to connect with me. If you want to discuss it, I would love your opinions. But this is, again, the way we see the world starting to change, and I think there's an opportunity for people. So thank you all. Thank you, Jenny, for orchestrating all of this this event. And again, if you have questions, go to the Signals website. Also, there's a free trial to go just try out the different sales agents. There's lots of different BDR agents and sales agents that you can just play with and experiment with. And if just go to getsignals.ai, and it's, again, just to see what's possible. There's an unlimited amount of opportunity, but it just takes thinking and takes time. So thank you all. Thanks again, Jenny, for hosting this.
Great. Thank you, Dave. Okay, as promised, I have a few housekeeping items before we jump into our next keynote. If you enjoyed Dave's session, we compiled all the research that went into his slide into a one-pager that really dives into what is the current status of sales and where is it going. We also wanted to recognize our RevTech Award winners. Once again, congratulations to all the nominees. For our Thought Leader categories, our winners were Heidi, Gabe, Scott, and Chantel. Our RevTech strategists, we have Weslyn, Frank, Cynthia, and David. Architects, we'd like to recognize Sarah, Danita, Liron, and Keith. And then our last category were the practitioners. We would love to recognize Tamara, Meredith, Gabrielle, and Alice. Once again, I just want to reiterate, these are people who were voted on and selected by you. Give them a follow. They are always sharing great content on LinkedIn. Their companies are doing great things, so always make sure to check them out. It'll be worth your time. So up next, we will be joined by Chris and Braden. They co-founded Sendoso back in 2016 out of a problem they both faced firsthand. They're both passionate about growth and building relationships with customers and employees through innovative sending solutions. So excited to have Chris and Braden adding you guys to the stage now. Welcome, guys.
Hey, morning.
Morning.
Hello.
I know, this is exciting. So this is our second keynote. They have a lot of great things to share on go-to-market and AI predictions for 2025. I'll go ahead and add your slides and turn over the time to you guys.
Thank you. 2016 always seems like a really long time ago, way back in the day. Cool. So we're going to jump in. We have 15 go-to-market and AI predictions for 2025. They're in no particular order. Chris and I sat down a couple weeks ago and we wrote a lot of these down, and we'll see if a lot of them come true. If you agree with some, awesome, send us notes. If you're like, no, they're way off, let us know. But we'll kick off with who we are first, and then, cool, it's working. All right, you're up first, Chris. Good.
Perfect. All right, so I'm Chris Rudigrab. I'm the co-CEO and co-founder of Sendoso. A little about me. I was born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area, still currently reside there. That is our Chief Marketing Officer, Stella. She's my best friend, and I love playing golf in my spare time.
Awesome. And I'm Braden. I'm the other co-founder of Sendoso. I call myself head of growth, which is the most Silicon Valley title of all time. Basically meaning I spend most of my time in go-to-market, from sales and marketing and all that fun stuff. Down there's a photo of my 3-year-old. She is basically the one who runs my entire life. Her name is Mac. I thought that photo was funny because who sees payphones anymore? I live in Marin, so just across the bridge from San Francisco. Been up here for a while now, 8 years or so. And then that last picture, for those dads and moms out there, that's a rad wagon. So that is where so the kid goes on the back, and I go everywhere in that thing. It's the best car of all time because there's never traffic. It's a really awesome way to get around the Bay Area. So if you are looking for a bike, rad wagon, shout out to those guys for making a really awesome mobile. All right, let's jump in.
All right, so before we get into the prediction, just want to give a quick overview of Sendoso. It gives you some context on where we're coming up with these predictions. So we are a direct mail and corporate gifting platform with really 4 key components. There's AI and data-powered recommendation engine. There's a global marketplace of campaign services, worldwide in-house fulfillment, and then integrations into tech stack, spend and user management, and advanced security controls. But at the end of the day, what we like to do is we like to send stuff out and help customers build revenue. And so you could send donuts, you could send cocktails, you could send cookies, you could send swag, you could send champagne, you could send handwritten notes, you could send postcards. I think you get it. You could send anything.
What's your favorite thing you ever sent, Chris?
I love the piñatas. I think those are pretty fun.
I'm a cookie person.
And then last thing, demand gen teams use Sendoso to increase pipeline. ABM teams use it to engage target accounts. Field marketing to drive webinar leads. SDR teams use it to book more meetings. Sales teams love it for accelerating deals, and customer success teams use it to improve retention. All being said, I think this just goes to show our background and expertise in the go-to-market space, given we've spent the last decade building and scaling Sendoso, and so it gives us some credibility. And then here's just a few of our marquee clients, from companies like Google to NVIDIA to Capital One, Morgan Stanley, to Okta. The list goes on, but you can see many worldwide leading brands use Sendoso today.
All right. So the 15 predictions, let's get into it and see what everyone thinks. See if you think we're right or if you think we're totally wrong. First one. So AI-powered sales assistants will become the standard. This one's, I think this one's pretty well accepted, that Salesforce, Agentforce, that ChatGPT, like these will just be things that we prioritize and use every single day to, one, like maximize our time, and two, just really like improve conversion rates. This one seems to be one, Chris, that I think that everyone would definitely agree on to kind of start off the 15. We're not controversial yet.
Correct. And I think there's also the AI agents, which is a future, another prediction, and also hit on the keynote from Dave in terms of, I think, a separate but also similar AI prediction. All right, number 2, AI will generate and optimize ad creative in real time. So this one is really exciting. The creative layer of marketing and demand gen teams can be dynamically optimized. There's cool companies like Copy AI, Writer, Jasper that are making it really easy to refine ad copy, images, and video in real time. And so we think this is going to be a prediction that will happen a lot more, and teams will be diving into this in 2025.
All right, let's go to number 3. All right, so AI-powered personalization will increase B2B conversion rates. This is one that I think is really important. So as we cruise across the web, as we look at certain websites, I think that the idea of personalizing those websites will only increase the conversion. I think that things that you look at, case studies you download, it's one of those things that I think is going to just become table stakes over the next year, like especially this year. I think it'll become a lot easier to have those sites geared towards the people that are kind of clicking and checking them out. This one, I think we're getting a little more controversial, but this is kind of my favorite one so far. Any add, Chris, on this one?
I think this one is going to be a kind of a catch-all, because you want to look at all the different channels you're using to improve personalization. But again, it's when you're evaluating new vendors or tools to use, I think it's critical to look at, hey, how are they leveraging AI to improve personalization? So it's going to be a checklist for procurement teams or for software buyers.
Yeah, I think like the big line down there is like the call to actions based on like what the visiting behavior is. I think depending on like where they're clicking on a site, if they're looking at case studies or if they're hovering around like take a demo or doing like kind of like different walkthroughs in the site, will just essentially determine what you want to send to them for their next action.
Number 4, AI-driven intent data will redefine lead scoring. And so I think this is something that will be really interesting to see from data sources that help predict who's the most likely to buy. Some of this is already happening, so a lot of companies are already using this. But I think the reason why we included this in a prediction for 2025 is this should be de facto. If you're not using intent data to redefine how you're thinking about lead scoring, then you need to be. The other thing here, lead scoring is a general term. Some people have moved away from lead scoring, but I think another way to think about this is redefine like account prioritization too. and using intent data to prioritize which accounts you're targeting. So I think this works both in a lead, an MQL world, and also an account-based marketing world too.
Yeah, and then shout out to Signals. I start putting that in there. All right, number 5. So AI generated video will dominate B2B marketing. This is one that there's some really cool companies that are doing this now, where video messaging, product demos, explainer videos, they can all be built with the help of AI. This, I think, is one of those things that maybe really took the world of B2B by storm last year. I think it'll only become bigger this year. Like when you go to a site now, if there's not a way where you can just kind of click around a certain product or learn how it works without having to take a demo, I think it's a really nice thing that most software should just add to their site. Just helps people get questions, helps them prepare, I think, for a demo a bit more. I think so rather than a demo like going through a slide deck, you can spend more time actually in the software because that person's already clicked around and kind of explored and already has questions.
Yeah, this one is one that wowed me. I think as even as like last year, there was, AI video that you'd see like a 6th finger, or you'd see like, really odd looking humans in these videos that you could tell were AI. But over the last year, it's been amazing to see the advances in technology to where you can't even tell the difference between a human and AI in some of these really interesting AI video technologies. And because of that, I think it will be adopted more this year because it feels so much real and it doesn't feel so fake anymore.
Do you think AI will take over Zoom calls? Like, could I actually be like an AI figure right now?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have no clue.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen some demos of that. All right, next one. AI agents will handle 40% of initial customer interactions. So similar to the first prediction around assistants, I think agents have their own place in the workforce. We heard this again from Dave in the first keynote right prior to us. This is super exciting to me. I think there's an insane amount of efficiency that can be happening, as well as better customer interactions and better customer experiences that can handle sales inquiries, lead qualifications, support, and be extremely accurate, always on, and very, very cost effective. So this is, I think, the year of AI agents, and lots more to come there.
I also think that this really adds to, we're really spread out. I don't think we're all in one place or all in like the US, et cetera. And so and when it comes to time, and like if you're working on something late at night, getting questions right away from an agent is going to be really nice. I think I've seen more and more sites handle that, where it's not just a ticket that you hope they get back to you in a couple of days. It's more like someone you can interact with, which I think is the coolest thing about agents, and they can answer your questions and point in the right direction right away. This one I'm also really excited about. I think it's more than 40%. I think we went low on this one.
Fair enough.
All right. All right, so AI-powered ABM will become the norm. This is one where like adjusting the messaging, we kind of talked about this earlier. I think when you go and visit a page, like how you're interacting with that site will basically change depending on what you're looking for, and like those signals depending on like what your intent data was the last time you were there. So adjusting the messaging, having like the right prospects engage with the right things on the site, and like will really help pipeline convert faster. When I first started in sales like 20 years ago or so, it was something that we always talked about. Like there were some old companies that helped kind of change like the A and B testing of like a certain page. I think that this is going to just become really table stakes for most companies. Like having a site differ depending on if you're a C-level versus if you're a user is going to be really important to help your users, help your prospects really engage with the site.
Yeah, for me, this is a really interesting one because over the last decade, we've evangelized ABM at Sendoso, but one of the complexities of ABM is there's just lots going on. You've got to target the right target accounts, the right messaging, the right collateral. Everything has to come together, the right alignment. And so it makes ABM efforts, complex at times. And so with AI assisting here, it'll make it so much easier and de facto to be very account-based with your outbound and your demand gen. Number 8, AI-powered pricing optimization will improve SaaS conversions. So I think this is an interesting one. We talked about other conversions, but pricing and packaging is one of those areas in B2B SaaS that oftentimes gets overlooked or is something that's set and forget about for years at a time. And oftentimes because there's complexities in pricing. But I think with AI, there'll be an availability of technology that makes it easier to more dynamically change pricing, or using data to set maybe different pricing levels. So I'm excited to see some of the technology come out that makes pricing optimization that much better, and hopefully helps reduce churn to make the right plan for the right buyer. And that seems really interesting.
So Chris, do you think if I'm on a page, I'll have different pricing depending on my information versus someone else?
I think there's a world where, yes, similar to when you're booking hotels or in the consumer world, pricing is more dynamic. I think that will happen more in B2B SaaS, as well as when behind the scenes, when a sales rep is quoting, there'll be more AI functionality built into that, making the quoting process more data driven. So the rep is not just kind of guessing at the right discount, but is using historical data and other data to optimize that pricing quote.
So there'll be no need for deal desks anymore.
I don't think so. I think Deal Desk will still be around. But again, Deal Desk will have probably more built-in AI components for setting different rules engines and optimizing for pricing that way too.
All right. Shout out to all my friends.
Long live Deal Desk.
Yeah, long live Deal Desk, I guess. All right. So AI will automate cold outreach with hyper personalization. This is one I would say is probably getting a little more into like the hot takes of AI, and like, will it be this year or will it be next year? For me anyways. And so AI tools will craft personalized emails, LinkedIn messages that actually make sense. I'm sure all of us get like a lot of LinkedIn messages where you're just like, I don't even know what this person's talking about. Like, can AI help make that better? The goal here is with personalized emails, LinkedIn messages, phone calls, etc. And like with AI using actually data they can pull from online to become very personalized. I think this is something that we probably really saw a lot last year. I think this year it'll really probably take every industry. The most important thing here is I think that AI right now, at least SDRs, I feel like they're probably pretty young. I don't think that they're great messages yet, but I think through this year, as it becomes smarter, by the end of the year, it'll be some pretty amazing messages where you can't tell the difference between an AI or a human.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is one where last year there was a lot of hype about AI SDRs and automating cold outbound. And I think this year is the year that it actually gets implemented. And I think there'll be multiple types of implementations, one that uses more data orchestration in AI and is more semi-automated, and then truly automated outbound that actually worked well based on the improvements in AI technologies.
A hot take for me is I don't think that this year this takes enterprise. I think it's really going to be SMB and mid-market. I think the enterprise type deals will still require an SDR that's a human. Maybe that changes in a couple of years or so. I'm not sure if Chris agrees, but I think this works well for like PLG, SMB, mid-market type stuff.
Number 10, AI generated product demos will replace live walkthroughs. So this is a hot take because people still fiend for the live demos, but I think this will be another alternative. And we've seen these companies like Novatic that we use at Sendoso, Walnut, the list goes on, where you can self-educate and learn more about a product without talking to sales first. And I think these tools will get even better in terms of how they use AI to generate these hyper-personalized product demos instead of, maybe years and years ago, it was screenshots that you clicked through. So these companies that are going to be offering these product demos, I'm excited and bullish on the future there.
Yeah,
and we'll see a lot more of them.
I think this has to happen. I think it totally changes when you hop on the phone with an AE too. You've already clicked around the product. I think it just helps. It speeds up the entire sales process, speeds up the conversation. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's one that most SaaS companies should for sure have or be thinking about adding. AI-driven RevOps will eliminate data silos. This is one that, so AI will unify the data from marketing, sales, CX platforms, providing real-time revenue insights. I'm excited about this because I'm sure all the RevOps folks who have millions and millions of tasks and jobs to do, this is only going to make their lives easier. I think this will help, really improve the go-to-market execution, really help some more deals, really help find the right deals at the right time. This is one that I think I wish happened last year, but I think this year is really where this grows for sure.
Yeah, I think this is critical. RevOps is like the heroes wearing the capes behind the scenes at a lot of companies. I know at Sendoso too, there's so much that they do to help stitch together sales and marketing and customer success. And I think it'll be it's cool to see new tools emerge that helps RevOps be more successful. I'm already seeing some interesting tools that help populate data and workflows and automate some of the things that was a more manual task by RevOps before. And so the more AI tooling that helps with improving these workflows, the better, and allows RevOps to really focus on the strategies versus some of the mundane tasks. All right, number 12, AI will revolutionize competitor intelligence and positioning. So I think this is something that's tried and true for the ages. Everyone's looking at their competitors. Everyone's trying to track what the competitors are doing. And there's just so much data there to think about, whether it's competitors' posts or product updates or pricing changes. And there's just so much to be able to monitor, so much data that if AI is managing this, it will be better off in terms of synthesizing the data, summarizing the data, and taking huge amounts of data and distilling it into more bite-sized updates. And so I think this year we'll see technology and companies that offer more AI competitor intelligence and positioning, and companies will adopt that. Some of them already exist. There's interesting, cool companies out there that are doing competitor intelligence, but I think this year we'll see a larger adoption of that because the summarization with AI will be that much better.
That's a good one. So AI-powered content repurposing will save the go-to-market's hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, but that one. So AI will automatically convert blog posts, LinkedIn posts, video scripts, to sequencing. I think that this is one that I'm very excited about. And one we started using at Sendoso, where it's like, hey, if you have a killer blog post, like that should be something we could use as a LinkedIn post or something we could use on a video script. This is one that I think is really going to not only like make content like more bite-sizable on LinkedIn posts. And if you want to go longer, you can go to the site and read a blog post, but it's really going to take brands. They're all going to have the same message across all these systems, which I think is going to be really important across the industry for sure.
Yeah, I think the other powerful thing here is companies that are able to take all of this content that has more brand approval and then distribute it across social, and you'll see a lot more content being shared by kind of micro influencers or B2B influencers in bite-sized snippets that I think will be well received by the audiences.
Yeah.
Number 14, AI will enable true omni-channel marketing orchestration. So I think this has been the goal for decades, is how can you have these very integrated multi-channel campaigns that are email and social media and direct mail and sales, everything talking the same talk with the same messaging and happening all at the same time. And I think this year tooling, leveraging AI will make it that much easier to be able to execute on this. I think, again, this hits on some of the other predictions we had around content optimization, around repurposing content. All of that will make it that much easier to have the seamless customer experience, so that you're seeing an ad that also relates to the outbound email you got, and so on, which ultimately should drive better conversion, which is another prediction. So lots of these predictions are intermingled, but I think it's hopefully this is the year of true omni-channel orchestration.
The next one's my favorite one. AI will help make direct mail and gifting a top 3 performing channel. What? The direct mail guys really pushing this. So direct mail and gifting will stand out from other noisy traditional channels. And sending something to the mailbox is just a really important place to be. I think that you could have amazing online marketing, amazing ads, amazing blog posts, but if you are leaving out the entire mailbox in the world of direct mail, then I think you're missing out on a very important channel. As Chris just said, having a message that is the same online, is the same in your ads, the same in your direct mail is important. I think having AI will only make this easier and make direct mail perform at a really high ROI, which will be important this year. Anything you want to add to this one, Chris? Do you know the space pretty well?
Very well said, and very self-promoting, Braden.
Yeah, right? What?
And before we go, we have one bonus. So as Braden and I were going through this, we were like, wow, lots of AI, lots of AI. We think these things will all come true. But what will also happen is potentially AI saturation will cause buyers to seek out human conversations. And ultimately,
The anti-AI.
Yeah, the anti-AI. If the pendulum shifts too much and buyers are feeling overwhelmed by all the AI, I think AI everything, AI this, AI that. What is tried and true is just talking to each other, a human talking to a human. And if you're seeking out a solution and trying to buy some new software technology, it's going to be critical to have these authentic peer-to-peer conversations that will end up driving more pipeline. So I think while everything goes AI, you still have to remember that at the end of the day, people buy from people, and having these human conversations will end up being king.
Yeah. No matter how many amazing case studies or ads or blog posts you read, I think at the end of the day, having a conversation as to how they implemented a software, how it worked, or would they buy it again is, I think, important to make sure it's still around and will be around, I think, for a long time. Want to close this out?
Excellent. Well, if you're curious to follow us along as we share more thoughts on these predictions over the year, follow Brandon and I on LinkedIn. Check out Sendoso if you're curious about direct mail gifting. This was fun, Brandon. I think hopefully for RevTech Summit 2026, we can maybe do a little recap to see which of these predictions came true. But otherwise, for all you listeners, hope this was enjoyable. Hope you shared some of the same predictions and thoughts, or if not, it's worth following along and diving into some of these in detail.
Absolutely. Thanks, Signals, for the invite.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us.
I'll hand it back over to you, Jenny.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Great. So just a few reminders. If you want to get our latest offer, it's ungated. Check it out. Just go to RevTechSummit.com. There's a few other items I want to touch on. So once again, check out our award nominees. We'll be posting all about them and the winners on our LinkedIn. Once again, congratulations. So after we just wrapped up the keynote with Sendoso, we'll be joined by Amy Cook from Fullcast. And then real quickly, because I missed it at 10 o'clock, so I just want to make sure you guys see it. We have so many great sessions. So if you're watching the live, amazing. If you want to get even more content, please go to RevTechSummit.com and view all of our pre-recorded sessions that are available on demand. So we have great speakers, some of my favorite, William Tyree, Wesleyan. We have a whole panel from Alley Oop. Amelia Taylor always has great insights on revenue. For sure, go check these people out. They put a lot of time into these presentations, making sure that you have the best content. In about 5 minutes, we will be releasing our 11 a.m. block. We are featuring people like Kia. She is really in the world of consulting, definitely has our pulse on what companies are looking to accomplish. Jake Dunlap, Trina Lampert, Joan Jenkins. I'm just going to say it again. These are amazing speakers. They put in so much time into these presentations. So join us at RevTechSummit.com, where you can get access to all of this content on demand. So let me go ahead and remove this. Up next, we will be joined by Amy Cook. She is a seasoned marketing executive and communications expert. She's been recognized for innovative strategies in technology, healthcare, and real estate marketing. She is the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Fullcast, the go-to-market cloud. Her passion for empowering others is evident in her work and community involvement. So I'll go ahead and add you in, Amy. Hey, Amy.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Hope everyone's doing well. And hi, Jenny. Nice to talk with you.
Yeah. Do you have any slides that we need to add, or are we good to just hand over?
I have some slides. Do you mind if I present?
Yep. Hit present and go ahead and add them, and I'll add them to the stream when you're ready.
Great. All right. I am ready.
Amazing. Well, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for the time to present today. To me, this is one of the most exciting things that has happened in the history of business since the Industrial Revolution. And I know that that is a big statement and a bold statement, but I mean it, and I think it's true. I'm going to go through a little bit about why I think now is the moment for revenue operations, why it's so impactful, and what we can do to help bring this about, and what you can do if you're considering a job change or considering growing your revenue operations career, and to achieve these goals and to really be part of the business movement that is happening right now at this time. So we have Whitney Merrill and Jared Robbins, who are going to be present on Thursday, but today it's just me. So did you know that revenue operations is the forefront of what's going to be happening in the next 10 years? Right now, there is a $3.7 billion opportunity in revenue operations. In 2033, it's going to be a $15 billion market. Companies who are using RevOps are seeing a 15% boost in efficiency and a 20% boost in innovation. Revenue operations ensures that sales, marketing, and customer success align on goals. And strategic revenue operations leadership at the executive level is what is driving growth today. So the changing business landscape, why this is so exciting, is that if you can stay with me, I did my PhD in organizational communication. And so with that, I did a lot of organizational theory. If we go back to the time of the Industrial Revolution, you understand that bureaucracy was the prevailing theory of the day. Bureaucracy was what was dictating the structures, the roles, the pay, the location. Everyone was on site. Everyone had very divided roles. There was a strict hierarchy. Email chains, like the email, which came later, but any kind of communication came from this very, very strict hierarchy. So enter digital transformation, enter the technology world. And all of a sudden, people start throwing wrenches into things, saying, hey, this is not how it should be. We should not have silos between our revenue teams. We should be talking to each other. We should not have a strict hierarchy. We should have a flat hierarchy. We should not have a division of labor that's so strict that nobody knows what the other person is doing. So digital transformation completely reversed what most businesses thought was normal and real and practical and the best way of doing things. But like any engine, when wrenches and things get thrown into the engine, it stops. So because of this, even though digital transformation has been the future, heralded as the future, 80% of the digital transformations fail, from startup all the way through enterprise. So what we have now is we have an opportunity for revenue operations to be able to take what's good about bureaucracy, take what's good about digital transformation, and be the future of business, where we have the best of bureaucracy, the best of digital transformation, and we streamline it into what is the future of business. So what used to take weeks for businesses with revenue operations can now take minutes. The speed and rate of business has to change. And revenue operations has to support that strategic execution. Think of, I'm going to go to the next slide here. The current state of revenue operations. So even though RevOps is the future, despite predictions, only 35% of the companies have or are building a RevOps team right now. 48% don't even have RevOps. So they're doing some kind of a Jimmy rig system where they're trying to fit technology into a bureaucracy, and it's just not working. Moving forward, we have Star Trek. So how many of you guys love Star Trek? I hope everyone does. I'm a big Star Trek fan. Captain Kirk, he is the CRO of the Enterprise. And Scotty is the revenue operations lead. He's the chief engineer. He's given it all of that he's got, and he's running the computer, the control panel the AI that's making everything work. But Captain Kirk and Scotty, if they can't talk to each other, and if Scotty doesn't know what's in the head and mind of Kirk, there is no enterprise that is going to be flying anywhere or to boldly go where anyone has gone before. AI is growing as well, and AI can also help revenue operations and provide those strategic insights. But a revenue operations leader has to guide it. Just like a computer control panel, AI is only as good as the revenue operations lead. So 72% of organizations use AI for at least one business function. And 82% of revenue professionals see AI's long-term benefit, but only 50% have deployed it for many uses. So there's a big opportunity there for people who are interested in growing a revenue operations career. The modern challenge right now is speed and structure. Because of bureaucracy's long-standing format in enterprises, it's a big ship. Digital transformation is here to enable it, but only if a strategic revenue operations leader can play that role in making sure that the system operates efficiently. So, for example, quarter-end deals can swing revenue outcomes. That's one way that a RevOps leader can really influence revenue. Navigating processes and policies and constraints between departments is another role. And trust and decision-making are very critical for this role. So my point, and it's a very short presentation, I'm hoping I have some people who want to ask me some questions about the role and the business of RevOps, is that RevOps is no longer just an operational function. RevOps has to play a strategic role in businesses so businesses can move forward, so that enterprise can boldly go where they have never gone before. And revenue operations professionals have an opportunity to step up and just take a seat at that leadership table. If you're interested in what I have to say today and you'd like to take a demo with Fullcast, we're going to send you some Star Trek socks. And the URL is below, and I can send it to you, Jenny. So let me stop there and see what your thoughts are. All right, it looks like I've got some questions here. So Manoj asked a question: if RevOps is the head of sales. So the head of sales in this metaphor is Captain Kirk, and the revenue operations leader would be an operations leader who is managing marketing, sales, and customer success in order to combine the department initiatives. Another question is, what if sales teams can be built with volunteers for cash-strapped tech founders? This is one of the challenges I'm trying to fix to help reduce the failure rate. That is something that is very interesting and a great idea. A revenue operations leader is a little bit more involved in making sure that once those decisions are made, you've got a good plan for how you can make that actionable and how their commissions can get tracked and how they can get quotas. In addition to that, I'm working with a company right now that is assembling kind of what you're talking about, which is a group of individuals who are on a contract basis, a commission-only basis, and tracking, commissions there for them. So you could do something with volunteers. Jenny, you're back. You're on mute, though.
Now I'm unmuted. Thank you. I just wanted to jump on and see if I could help facilitate with any questions. If people have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And we have a few minutes left with Amy that we can answer some of those.
Great. Does anyone else have any questions? And I'm just looking in the comments, wondering if that's the right place to go.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like nobody's got any questions, Jenny.
That's okay. If people wanted to, I missed it if you said it, but if people wanted to ask you additional questions after watching your session, where's the best way that they can get in contact with you?
Okay, so if you want to get some socks, if you want to go where no man has gone before and consider a career in revenue operations, or talk with one of us about how revenue operations can really help your business, feel free. I put this in the comments, the link here. If you'd like some socks, we'd love to have a chat with you. You can also connect with me here at amy@fullcast.com. And if anyone wants to send me a text message, I'm going to put my cell phone in here as well.
You're so nice.
Yeah, of course. No problem. I love texting.
And it does look we got one more question if you have time for it. So
Sure, absolutely.
So it's from Shelly W. She says, with sales, I think about the consumers. What's a benefit for the consumers?
Oh, I love that. So retail is very, very much a revenue operations focused, streamlined system. Revenue operations in retail specifically is all about making the consumer experience absolutely fantastic. So if your user experience is bad, you've got a revenue operations problem. So things like how fast your website is in order to make a purchase, how many clicks until the end of the purchase, how fast your customer success person responds, how easy it is to get in touch with them, whether the technology, if they get on a phone call, whether that's easy to understand, whether the terms and conditions and pricing are right. Revenue operations is the thing that brings it all together. And that's one of the reasons that it's such a really exciting career.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining. You always share such great information, and this is a really awesome offer. Like, go check it out. Go get those free stocks.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you too. Great. So we'll just do a few more reminders. Our 11 a.m. block is now available. Go to RevTechSummit.com to check it out. And up next, we're really excited. We will be joined by Albert. He is the founder of Stratego Intel Consulting. Wow, maybe I can speak today. An AI-powered fractional CFO and virtual chief AI officer firm powered by White Glove AI. That's a mouthful. So Stratego specializes in wellness and fitness franchises, SMBs, as well as corporate and private equity-owned companies. Albert helps organizations leverage AI-driven financial strategy, cash flow management, KPI dashboards, and bank investor relations to drive efficiency, execution, and sustainable growth. So, Albert, if you're ready, I'll go ahead and add you to the stage.
Hi, good morning, Jenny. Or good afternoon, actually. Well, good morning to those in California, my home state.
Right?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let me get my presentation mode here. Let's share my screen. Excellent. Big shout outs to Gamma. Jenny, can you see my screen here?
I can see your screen. I can't see you, but we're okay to proceed if that works for you.
There we go. How's that look?
So I still can't see you, but I can totally see your screen. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It's just technical difficulties that come with the live
No
stream.
worries.
So,
all good. All good. Y'all don't need to see me anyways. We'll go through
you can go check them out on LinkedIn.
On here anyways. So you can hear me. Excellent. Well,
I can hear you and I can see your computer. Great.
Beautiful. Jenny, first off, wanted to say thank you to you and Signals and RevTech. Outstanding. Rael, oh my goodness, behind the scenes doing a ton of work. I'm so thankful for you all. I think I've been putting Rael through the ringer. She's been so helpful. So thank you. I know she's out there. And thank you to the team. It's been amazing and such an honor to be on the virtual stage with so many of these amazing speakers. I really enjoyed Amy's presentation.
Oh, We just lost your audio, Albert. Maybe if you leave and then I'll bring you back in and we can try that. Okay. While we wait for Albert, if you guys have any questions during these live sessions, feel free to either watch the live stream on YouTube or LinkedIn, or I sound like a broken record, go to RevTechSummit.com and leave those questions for our speakers because they love to answer them. So, Albert, I added you back to the stage. Let's see if we can hear you okay.
Excellent. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So
Okay.
hopefully it stays with us this time. And then go ahead. You'll need to re-add your presentation. And
no worries.
Appreciate all the positive things you had said to say about Rael and Signals. We really love putting these events together, and hopefully everyone can learn lots of things that they can take away and apply. So presentation ready to go. I'll hand it over to you. If we run into audio problems, I'll just pop back on.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the virtual audience out there. Really excited to share this content with you. As I mentioned, RevTech, Signals, and the team are outstanding. What I wanted to go over today, I think there's been a lot of hype and a lot of media noise out there around AI. I think the presenters today have done an outstanding job on making it practical, applicable, and something that you can chew on to go execute. What I wanted to do, though, is turn a little bit of a page on once you've decided, because you should have already, if you're not using already, to use AI. Once you've decided that you want to go as a decision maker or go pitch this to your C-suite executives, I wanted to show you how to go do this. So I'm Albert Ramos. I'm a fractional CFO for Stratego Intel Consulting. I also have partnered up with White Glove AI as the host of the new podcast season teams so that you provide a great team member experience and member experience. So today we're going to be talking about how do you go get this pitch to your C-suite executives that maybe are sitting outside of the arena for right now. They're in the stands, right? How do you sell AI to your CFO? And I wanted to make sure I gave you a specific step-by-step guide on how to do that. If you'd like to engage with me, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, shoot a DM over to me. I have one little disclaimer. I know you're going to, and I hope you do. If you are going to pitch me any of your tools, products, services, shoot me a note. All I ask is make it funny and send me something personal, and I'll make sure to reply back. If you don't, I'm sending you an emoji and saying no thanks. So make sure to follow me there on LinkedIn. You also have a QR code if you want to go directly to it if you're watching this from your laptop or desktop. So we'll get as people are starting and executives and companies are starting to lean in. And it's not about should I or when, it's I need to, but how do I do it? And here's why it's so important that you start leaning in if you haven't already. Number one is the market growth, right? And this is a conservative number. By
Hey, Albert, sorry to do this to you again. We lost some audio. Sorry, Albert, I still can't hear you. Okay. We'll just give Albert a few seconds to rejoin. Oh, I can see you now too.
You're gonna have one of those days with tech. I love it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. It's all
come
good.
to the live stream.
Well, let me ask you this, Jenny. If you have the deck on your end, is there any way for you to share it? And that way, maybe there might be a bandwidth situation going on here.
Yeah, if you send me the link, I can share my screen.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You'll just have to give me some direction on when you want me to scroll, but happy to do that.
No worries. Yeah, let's pivot here.
Okay.
I think the next presentation is AI on presenting and not losing your tech.
If you want to drop a
totally
link.
my bad. Yeah, let me get the link
chat.
for you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Here it is. I'm just going to throw it in. Actually, so people have access to it as well, just in case you all lose me. And maybe someone else wants to step in and chat about it.
Okay.
All right. There it is. It's in the chat. So for anyone out there, you have access to that deck directly. And then Jenny, you have it there. And
yep, just give me a second to get it ready to go.
No problem. Well, what I was getting to is the market growth, right? We have not only Stargate, a $500 billion commitment, but we also have companies like Amazon, Meta, Google just came out with a massive $1 billion investment in AI infrastructure. So really excited about that. The second thing that Jenny's pulling up here, there it is a big reason why you want to lean in if you haven't already, specifically for those in sales, marketing. The competitive edge is a big one, right? We know, and this was very 2024, 2023, AI can help you automate repetitive and mundane tasks. I think we're past that one. We know the power that it can do there. It's really that next layer is how are you using AI in marketing and sales to improve the customer experience? And my favorite, and more importantly, the team member experience internally. The third thing is how do we use AI to make faster, more effective decisions? I come from the finance space and we've seen the power that it does and it's getting even better. But even on the marketing side, and I'll tell you from the finance lens or as a CFO, I'm always pressing the marketing team to show me from all the things that they're doing from website, social, et cetera, how is that leading to $1 to the bottom line? And AI can allow us to get even closer there, more precise on showing the ROI, which we'll get to in a little bit. Finally, it's starting to become far cheaper. We've seen a lot of news recently over the last couple of weeks, and we can do it at scale, which is music to my ears. For those that aren't using AI, or if you're wondering if your competitors are using it, I'm officially letting you know that I know specifically that many of you that are on this should know that your competitors are using AI already because I'm helping them build it and I'm helping educate their teams on how to use it. So I highly recommend that you jump in. So Jen, if we scroll down, I wanted to provide some examples of ways that you should be or can be using AI. And if you have any questions about this, again, you have a QR code there, you have the link in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me. But you can see here from real-time feedback on specific financial metrics, competitive intelligence, scraping websites at a much better level. Hyper-personalization. I was at a recent event at the Dallas meetup, and shout out to Carson and that team. But using AI to target your ICP, your ideal customer profile. We're no longer focusing on low quality, cold leads. And I know there's a lot out there. You know, you could send 40,000 emails and you get a 1% open rate. That's great. And if you want to continue doing that, awesome. But there's also great tools out there that allow you to go after those that actually want to use your product and your services. So it's smarter hot leads. There's better qualification and ranking systems using AI. You can create new tools, new verticals, new revenue streams, or ARR with your AI tools. And then I love the retail space, and many of you are in it, is strengthening that omni-channel from an online experience even to in-store and keeping it consistent. And so as we go down the list, hopefully you're checking off some boxes in your head there. If not, again, if you have questions on how to go do this, feel free to reach out. What I'd love to talk about next, though, is, okay, we know that AI is important. We should be using it if we're not already. Here are some examples of how to go do it. But there is a problem. And if Jenny, if you want to scroll down there, someone's in the way, right? And typically, and this could be any one of your leadership executives or team members, but typically it's the one that controls the investment purse string. And that person's the CFO. And so that's the point of today is I want to show you how you can go pitch this, knowing that your organization, your team needs AI, your department needs AI. I want to show you how to pitch this to your CFO the right way. So as we scroll down here, we need to unravel, right, and peel back the layers of how a CFO thinks. And I'm going to give you 4 different ways on how to go and approach this. So number one, this is probably one of the most important, is what is the return on investment? right? So you need to demonstrate tangible benefits and a clear path to profitability. You'll see it here again. If you're pitching AI and you're pitching it as a cost center, that's not going to get a lot of attention nor a lot of dollars. What you want to show is mathematically, and notice I offered a quote here because I've said this, show me mathematically what the return on investment is. And you have to do your homework and you have to crunch the numbers and present that out. It can't just be, well, everyone's doing it, we got to go AI. Show me where, if we plug this in our organization, what is the ROI? Second thing, and you saw some examples above, how is this leading to cost savings? With everyone riding the inflation wave over the last couple of years, it's going to be very hard to get points in that specific area on price. So we're looking at, all of us, sales and marketing, volume and mix, right? Volume, price, mix are your levers. Price is going to be tough. So volume and mix. How are you going to go drive top line revenue, but also reduce your cost spend to grow your bottom line, right? And so there are opportunities and pain points currently within your organization where you can plug in and integrate AI to reduce that cost spend. So here's a quote for you. And I hear this all the time. Well, AI is just going to be a cost center, not a revenue generating center. And that's something you need to think about. The third thing, and a lot of people miss this, and I don't want you all to, because typically it's not just your CFO, it's their best friend, sometimes the CIO, right? And you got to think about the data security implications, right? So ensuring compliance with regulation, I always advise that you have an AI task force and you're thinking about sensitive and confidential information. Have that part of your pitch and proposal. I hear this a lot, especially for those, and I know we have some on here from the tech space. Well, if we introduce that AI, we're going to leak some sensitive information and get sued. And that's when my ears ring, right? From a risk mitigation and funds. So we don't want that to happen. So you really got to partner up with those that are subject matter experts, specifically in IT, to make sure that you're vetting the right AI tools. Because I'll tell you, and it's okay to offer some discernment and be skeptical. There are some tools out there that you don't want to even touch with a 10-foot pole. I won't mention them because I'll get in a lot of trouble. Number 4, lastly, and I think this is the most important one, yet I'm so surprised this gets missed so much. We have these amazing tools. We know these pain points. We know what we want to go solve, but we don't think about how we go implement it with people. So there's implementation risks. So understanding the challenges with your people and your culture, understanding the complexities, how to roll this out, and doing it slowly, one step at a time. I see and hear this quote all the time. It's going to go wrong, and we'll see a revenue dip, and all you salespeople just click on your screen again. We can't have that, right? So we can't have the revenue dip. So it's so important, again, you understand what the ROI is, and we're going to walk through that here in a bit. We have to come at it from a cost savings, efficiency, and productivity gains. You need to make sure that you're keeping mind of the data security implications. And then finally, how are you going to roll this out slowly and effectively with, for, and through your people? So if we scroll down, I want to go and break and unravel this ROI piece, right? Return on investment of AI. It's important. If you pitch this without this, that paper or that proposal, that email is going to get deleted. Hopefully it's an email, not paper, right? Let's digitize everything. So I want to give you some specific examples here. Number 1, we're all excited about this. Let's go increase some sales, right? So we know AI can increase sales, right? Hyper personalization is it right now. You can do so much with AI there, driving sales, meeting your ICP, right? Your target market exactly where they're at, knowing who they are and what they need, right? And then drive a better customer experience. That being said, you got to know what's happening without AI now. So what's your from and where you're going to take it to if we integrate AI within your software, systems, workflows, et cetera. What does that mean in dollars? Your CFO is going to want to know that. And what does that mean from a percentage growth year over year? And I know some of us are still talking about it because we're trying to recover to 2019. You have to make sure that's on your proposal as well. Second, I've mentioned it. We need to reduce costs, or we're going to reduce costs by integrating AI, right? So we know from a repetitive task, the mundane, to things like lead generation, data entry, customer service. And this is a sensitive topic, and I'm so glad Dave said it, and he kicked off this whole thing with it. It's already happening. I'm seeing it happen. And if it's not a reposition type of thing, the next step, especially from a CFO that's talking to leaders out there that are watching this, or executive leaders that are looking at jumping in AI, this is replacing people. It's the truth. And I'm not a fan of what I call the rainbows and butterflies out there. That's not going to replace anything. It's just going to augment. That is not true. It's already happening. It's replacing people. So you need to make sure that you're leaning in, learning these things, and you're in a position to consult, be a business partner, and supervise these AIs. And I'm not going to even get to agents, but that's another thing. Reducing costs, right? So what is your current cost in payroll, in benefits, in marketing budget? I know that's a hot topic. In marketing budget, in your sales budget, what is that from, and what is it going to be when we integrate AI? What is that to in dollars? And again, how do we protect those margins? We all know, we've heard it, AI improves efficiency. So I wanted to give you some metrics. And again, hopefully you have your transcribers out there, or if you're not doing that and you're using pen and paper, talk to me too. We need to get you on a transcriber. So revenue per sales rep, cost per lead to opportunity conversion, customer acquisition costs, right? A dramatic improvement in click-through rates, or some of you call it CTRs, right? For short, I'm getting these acronyms in there. Open rates and reply rates. Make sure that this is part of your pitch and proposal when introducing or pitching AI to your executive team. So if we scroll down, I want to go through a couple points and just examples quickly, right? And some of this might apply to you, and actually it's going to apply to all of you, because I have one for marketing and for sales. And by the way, I went through plenty of case studies that I have, and I wanted to look over something recent because things are changing fast. So over the last 3 weeks, I picked out a couple clients that you all can go replicate, or maybe it's something that you can relate to. So number one, how do we use AI in the finance space? Well, it's easy. And it's not just necessarily the accounting and bookkeeping and AR and AP. I like spending, and I know a lot of you like spending time in cash flow and P&L analysis. So what I found, I had a client that reached out and they weren't using AI. They had inaccurate cash flow. They had no idea why they're not getting a distribution, have no idea why their cash position is in a negative, and could not foresee what's happening in the next 13, 14 weeks. They were spending, their finance team was spending over 40 hours per month. That's in addition to what it took to close the books, gathering all this data and trying to figure out. So what we did with AI is we use AI to create forecasting tools, specifically cash flow forecasting tools. So that allowed visibility and also allowed the ability to have strategic decision-making on what to do next, not only on the top line revenue, but also from your expense line items. It can also detect, there's some amazing tools out there that allow you to detect anomalies when there's any type of cost overruns, or projecting any type of cost overruns, or any type of fluctuations. And then finally, my favorite, there's some modeling that you can do, and a big shout out. I don't mention a lot of tools typically on things like this, but I will say Scan AI, highly recommend you all look into it if you're interested in looking at scenario-based modeling. If I do X, what happens to price? If I do Y, what happens to volume? If I do et cetera, what happens to my marketing, whatever, Z? There's a great tool out there that allows you to create scenarios before piloting it or even rolling it out officially. So I'll go into case number 2, because I think this is going to be more applicable to the audience, and that's in marketing. This is a recent, and maybe they're watching today. There's a marketing client of mine that was really looking to get far more efficient. They actually outsourced a lot of their content creation, editing, writing, et cetera, copyright, et cetera. And they wanted to get more efficient with it. They also want to have a better experience with their clients and have better engagement. And then also start to enable sales from a client engagement managers. So the team wanted it to be smarter. They knew that they needed to lean into AI. There's a lot of noise around SEO, right? So they wanted some help there, and then to automate workflows so they can get more clients and get more content out there generated faster that was still quality made. So as we partnered up, we outfitted that entire team with GPTs. And if you don't know what that means, right, it's not your normal quote unquote AI search or vision or voice function. This is getting what I call inch wide, mile deep, right? And getting very narrow with your client base or your ICP. They're called generative pre-trained transformers, GPTs. And we tailored them for every single brand. They had hundreds. We created a GPT so that every time they talk to their client, we had their brand book uploaded. We had their SOPs. I have everything that we know about their CEO and their CFO. We had everything about their ICP so that when we were content creating, it wasn't a generalized cookie cutter approach and the next best thing as the organization. We wanted it to make it tailor-made and what they call custom to fit, which I love that quote of theirs or their motto. So we automated their content generation, specifically in this case, LinkedIn. We did that with email campaigns. And I'll tell you, I know the buzzword about agents is out there and it's real. These agents do grab articles. They can create newsletters within seconds, blogs, etc. And I'll get to that in a little bit. We streamlined the client onboarding experience. We did a ton. So really excited about that case study. Again, you have this deck if you want to review some more of those points. Finally, on the sales side and the biz dev side specifically. So one of the case studies that I want to pull out, and I know there's a lot of you that come from the talent acquisition and staffing world, specifically BD. And we know that there's a bit of a lag there. I think there's a couple players out throughout the country in the staffing world that are starting to jump in. Even recently met someone that's creating an entire team of recruiters that are agents, no humans at all on the team. And they're starting to get better and better and actually place candidates, and the time to fill as well as the efficiency gains to the bottom line and EBITDA are outstanding. It's already here. So there was this recruiting agency that reached out to me and they just couldn't get client leads, or at least it was inefficient. When they met with them, there was low conversion rates, even slow response times they found, as they had a ton of CVs or resumes coming through, clients trying to get a hold of them. And it was just all over the place, right? In addition to organizing and maintaining their contracts and making sure they had the correct terms. This was a contingent type of placement model that they had. And so what we did is we integrated AI into their lead generation or prospecting. We put it within every single interview, specifically transcribers. We are able to watch the candidate, their sentiment, how long the recruiter was talking, how long the candidate was talking. When reaching out to clients, we knew exactly what they needed and what they were looking for. So better relationship management. Again, this wasn't taking notes and having to do all this homework. We use AI, GPTs, and agents to find this information within seconds, within minutes, and not days. So again, I'll let you all read through that just for the sake of time. You can go through some of the different things. I do want to, because I'll have something at the end here, we also introduced a chatbot. And I know there's a lot of chatbots out there, but what we were able to do, not only on the inbound side when people would come to their website, but on the outbound side, and I know there's some that DM me before this, is how can I do one internally for my team? Think, you have SOPs, you have workflows, you have documentation. Hopefully you can upload that into your chatbot or GPT. And now you have a better team member experience so people can actually find things faster throughout your organization. If you're not doing that yet, you need to for sure. So if we scroll down, I wanted to add there agentic workflows and agents. Please research this. I'm not going to chat about this today. And I would have so much fun with Dave earlier. We can chat about this for hours and for days. Everyone, it's here. It's not a buzzword. I've seen them. I see what they can do when built by great people. Those that are on this virtual call, I've seen them and they're amazing. And so please research what they do. You may even want to know how they operate and how to build them. I mentioned it earlier. One of the combos that you may get though when you're pitching this is the CFO and CIO. So really important. Just 3 main points here is make sure that you understand the significance and the importance of protecting data, the security of data, the privacy of data. You also want to make sure your AI task force is thinking about ethical AI. So governance and an auditing process or workflow there. And then finally, just making sure that you protect your culture and people. I want to hit that note again around implementation challenges. It's so important that you think through those and you don't rush to a tool or to some sort of AI in the process. You got to think about all these moving parts. Okay, so how do we pull that all together? Here's what you're going to do. Here's your call to action, the milestones, and what you want to do. So number 1, you want to define the business case. What is the issue? What's the problem you're trying to solve first? If there's no problem or you can't identify it, don't move forward, right? There's no reason to choose a tool if it's not solving something, right? So make sure you can clearly articulate, whether that's through email or in person, which I recommend, the specific pain points that you'll solve in your sales department or marketing department or what have you. The second thing, once you've got past that, is what's the financial impact? We've gone through that today. What is the ROI? What are the sales implications? What are the cost savings implications? What's the projected ROI and cost savings, as I mentioned there? Show the mathematical potential gains. You have to do that. Without that, and I'm telling you, if anyone ever sent me something about AI and integrating it in and you didn't break down the mathematical proof of what it would do, I toss the idea. I don't want to hear about it. And so you're going to get that response too if you don't do that. Finally, what's your AI budget and implementation plan? Show the investment breakdown of what you know at that point, right? And you may need some help there from those in finance or FP&A, et cetera, right? So lean into your subject matter experts so they can build something for you. Finally, pitch it, and I'd love to hear about it. So shoot me a DM on how it goes. So I have some things for you all, just to end this off, specific to what we can do for you all. There are some benefits, and I think we've gone through that. We understand it's not a cost center, it's a revenue accelerator, right? It's about eliminating inefficiencies and wasted spend. There's so much out there. And if you're out in front of this and you're presenting this to your executive team or those executives out there, we know that these are some pain points. You can solve these so quickly. And then finally, AI is your CFO's best friend. Just make sure that you present it as a strategic investment. So here's my call to action. As you heard earlier, draft up your proposal with your team, with your department, with those decision makers. And if you're the one, great, draft it out. Second thing, validate it with some subject matter experts. And finally, I'd love to hear how it goes. This is a ton of fun for me. And I want to make sure that you do it appropriately and you make change for not only your customers, again, more importantly, for the team member experience within your organization. So I have something for you all, hopefully for those that stayed on or will see this in the future. This also applies to you all. As we go down, I'd love to have you try out AI if you haven't already. If you heard me say chatbot and you don't have one currently in your organization or externally on your website, not only am I a fractional CFO for Stratego Intel, I'm also a virtual CIO for White Glove AI. And I want to give them a shout out. We do some amazing shows on the AI Executive. Find it on LinkedIn. But what we're offering everyone is just a taste of what AI can do for you. And I can't wait to see your eyeballs when you see the power that it has when people come to your website and all the information that it will gather for you. Again, you can do this internally as well for your team members. So DM me on LinkedIn, RevTech, and we'll make sure to send you the link. So if you qualify, we'll get you that chatbot as well. And then finally, just I've mentioned it a couple times, just so we all get to engage with each other. This is such an amazing platform. I'm so grateful to be here. And Jenny, if you scroll down, I can show others where to find me and how to get more of AI. The first thing that I shared there is a framework. I wanted to show you all what a great framework looks like. We've developed this at White Glove AI. We'd have a ton of researchers, and some of you that are on this virtual call and summit, you've been a part of this and have given us your feedback. Thank you so much. But you have to have a framework, as I showed earlier, not only an investment proposal, but how you go roll this out to your team. If you'd like to hear more, I do a daily show called The Morning Buzz. So if for those of you that were forced to return to office, you can listen in on your drive into downtown, or those that are getting a workout like me early in the morning, feel free to jump in and listen in, and we're answering all your questions. I also have some amazing people lined up for the podcast, the AI Executive Podcast. We also do, once the kids are to bed, we do an after hour. So get your favorite beverage and we'll do some Q&A based on that podcast and have some chats if you're looking to learn more. And then we have some amazing guests and we do these impromptu roundtables. So go on LinkedIn. It's called the AI Executive. We'd love to have you on. And if you want to be a guest, feel free to reach out to me too. You have all my information. Jenny, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing how the audience goes and takes action here. And I'm looking forward to engaging on LinkedIn too. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for being flexible and going with the live stream. We really enjoyed having you.
No, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Great. So we're just about done. We're in the final 20 minutes of the live session. Up next, we'll be joined by Bethany. She is the co-founder and CEO of SendSpark, where she's dedicated to revolutionizing business communications through innovative video message solutions. We're really excited to have Bethany join us today. I'll go ahead and add her to the stream. She is our final session for the live stream. So we're going to end it with a bang. And then if you still want more content afterwards, go to RevTechSummit.com and check out our other sessions. Bethany, excited to have you on.
Hey, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Do you have any slides we need to add? I can make sure.
Yeah. Should I just share my screen, or what's the best way to do this?
Yes. I would do present, and then you can share your screen if you have animations. If you don't, you can upload the file and we can add it to the stream.
Okay. I'm going to share because I might do some live demo too. We'll see how much time we have.
Yeah. And you're good. If we go a little bit over, we're a little flexible. So take the time that you need. And now the time is yours.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you. Thanks, Jenny. Hey, everyone. I'm going to show how you can use AI to transform your sales process. And obviously, that's a big statement. So I'm not going to show you everything in the world, but I am going to show you what we specifically do at SendSpark and have helped our customers do that have gotten really, really strong results and, absolutely game changing from what life was like 12 months ago. A brief introduction about me. My name is Bethany. I'm the co-founder and CEO of SendSpark, which is an automated video platform to create AI personalized videos at scale. And I really started SendSpark alongside my co-founder to solve my own problem. Before doing SendSpark, I was doing like marketing, sales automation, the one like sending out all the emails on behalf of salespeople. And, it was really just looking for a better way to stand out and connect at scale. So that's why we started SendSpark 5 years ago. And why I absolutely love this kind of like AI lead gen, go-to-market engineering kind of stuff. And I'm excited to share what we do. So plan for today, I'm just going to address like the current issues that we're seeing in the space. And then I'll go through some tactics that I think can help a lot. And I'll show step-by-step how you can set some of these up. If you take away like all of this, absolutely great. I think it's game-changing. But my hope is even if you just take one step in this strategy, it could be like a game-changing improvement. So showing a lot of different things and I'll move fast. But don't feel bad if you don't do it all at the end. Okay, so the problem that we're seeing, and we talk to like so many sales leaders, between me and the other people on my team, and we're constantly hearing that in a way, it's easier than ever to send emails, right? Like you have tools like Instantly and Smartly that let you buy a lot of domains and send things out at scale and manage high velocity infrastructure, which is great in some ways. But it's also way harder to stand out because people are just inundated with emails. And the same things, the same like quick question email that worked great a year ago is just not cutting it. Reply rates are down across the board. And the same things that used to work didn't work anymore. That said, the framework to succeed in today's world is not that crazy. I think it breaks down to 3 components. One is good timing. So you're reaching out to people at the right time when they're really, looking to buy or just barely starting their buying cycle. And you can find this using intent data. There's a lot of new platforms in the market I'll talk about. Having good lead data. So not just like good emails and LinkedIn profiles and accurate phone numbers. Obviously, that's important too. But it's also possible to enrich leads with things that are really important for your sales process. So like based on what you sell on and the value you provide, you can get a lot of data, with just Clay or AI agents to help you make a more compelling message and to just know that you're spending time targeting the right people. And then lastly, good messaging is always important and really ties into 1 and 2. So sending emails or LinkedIn messages that convert and using personalized video to just boost those reply rates and make sure that you're getting the most out of every outreach campaign that you're doing. Results to expect. I just grabbed a screenshot from Expandy, which is the platform that we're using for LinkedIn automation. And you can see the videos or the messages with videos we're sending are getting around 66% reply rate, which is twice as much as the one without them. But even the ones without them, where we're just reaching out to highly, qualified, targeted people at the right time, are still getting 31% replies. So, I think it depends a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily say that you should expect things this high, but it's not crazy to get really good reply rates. Definitely if you're targeting 1%, that's too low. You can do better than that. Okay, so I'm going to dive into each of these. Good timing. So there's a few ways that you can make sure that you're reaching out to people at the best time. There's actually a ton of ways. I'm going to show the ones that I see just being the easiest to set up and working well. One is website visitors. I know, both Adam Robinson, RB2B, and Warmly are very active on LinkedIn. So you're probably familiar with this concept where you can track and identify who's on your website using these platforms. And I would honestly recommend just using both because more data is better. So what you can do is track who's on your website. And, just because someone's on your website doesn't necessarily mean that timing at that moment is perfect. But what it lets you do if you have a good CRM is, like, now that you have that person pinged, you can track everything else they do. And then you can look at page visits, associated contacts, like maybe they have multiple people from the company checking you out, other actions they're taking, and then use this as a trigger for outreach. So this is a screenshot from HubSpot. And what we're doing is we have a list of all the people that are active. We then are filtering out some data and narrowing down with who we want to talk to. And then when they take key actions, then you can use that as a trigger. And now, your lead list is much smaller than every person in the world who has the right job title, an industry. But when you reach out to those people, your reply rates are going to be a lot higher and your sales process is going to be a lot shorter because people are already familiar with their brand and possibly active in the buying process. Another really good strategy is social post engagement. So what you can do here is you can look at people who've engaged with a specific post, maybe a post that you've made that's about your company, or if you integrate with another company and they make a post that gets a lot of engagement, or your competitors have a strong post, or an influencer in your space is a good post. Maybe everyone who engaged that post, I'm not going to say they're the hottest leads in the world, but it is a little bit of intent that's higher than everyone else. So you can use tools like Expandy, Phantom Buster, or Trigify is really solid to scrape everyone who's engaged that post and then use them as part of your intent list. This screenshot's from Expandy, and you can see, I tried to take a screenshot of where you're doing a post engagement search. So basically what you can do is in Expandy, you can do a new search, and then you can paste a LinkedIn URL to a post, and then add, and I just realized the screenshot's wrong, but the way it works, you'll add the link to the post, and then you add the little post ID, and then it will scrape everyone who engaged that post for you, and also tell you if you're already connected to some people or you're not, so you kind of know who to reach out to and can take things from there. There's a ton of other signals that you can look for. Those are two that we're doing really successfully, but a lot of our customers will also look for, and we do this too, actually, to a lesser extent, people hiring for key roles. So you might know they're growing their team. That indicates something. Maybe your champion changes a job, so now they're at a new company, you can reach out. You can use something like Trigify to see if they're searching your category of video prospecting or sales tools or whatever it is. And also you can think about other intent specific to you. I've seen great use cases where someone who sells an integration platform reaches out when a company announces a new integration and says, hey, if integrations are a priority, we can help you build more faster. Or similarly, you can look for funding announcements if you sell SOC 2 certifications, hey, you just announced a series seed. You probably need to be SOC 2 certified now. Let's talk. So think about the signals that mean that for you, it's a good time to start your sales process, monitor them, and then create your lead lists from them. Now, once you have those lists, the key thing you want to do is qualify. And so there's two things you need to do here. One is probably enrich and add more data. So like, you know, everyone who engaged with your LinkedIn post is probably not a good lead for you. They're probably too small. Your sales team doesn't want to talk to everyone. And similarly, everyone who's been on your website is not a good lead. You only want to talk to people who match your ideal customer persona. So those are the people you want to qualify. And then of course you'd want to exclude people you're already talking to, right? Like you don't want to be pinging your current customers, your current pipeline all the time. So in this screenshot, I'm showing a table, and I can definitely, if you want more of this, like add me on LinkedIn and I can send you like the real tables and the templates for everything too. My name is just Bethany Stackenfeld, so you can add me there and I'll send this over. But what you can do is like send your data into Clay, and then you can enrich the basic stuff like phone number, email, LinkedIn URL, all that, as well as more complicated stuff like, you know, their head count for a certain department. If you sell for seats, that's really good information to know. Or, you know, their total head count. You can even use a sales agent to like go to their website and just ask. You could even say, hey, are they currently SOC 2 certified? No, they're not. Good time to reach out if that's what you sell to. So you can use this to enrich data. And then also you can kind of check in with your CRM to see what their lead status is. And then at the end, after you do all this enrichment in Clay, you want to send it back, whether you're using HubSpot, Salesforce, Close, whatever. Make sure that you're sending that data back into your CRM. So you now have really good enriched data that you can continue using for filters and automations and all that. So enrich and qualify. Last kind of these three is good messaging. So to recap, what we want to do is find people at the right time. There's some intent. We want to filter down to our ideal customer persona, and then we want to send them good messaging. I'm just going to give you a rough like mini email sequence that I think works at a high level. And of course, like people will pick and argue about what makes a good email. So I'm not saying this is perfect, but I think it's a good framework where you basically are saying like, hey, relevant trigger, wanted to reach out. So like relevant trigger, like, hey, you know, saw you on our website, or, you know, noticed you engaged with this post. Maybe you don't even say exactly what it is they did to not be too creepy, but you're kind of referencing this. And then, you know, something that's like, wanted to reach out, see if I could help, or you had any questions, you know, offer a demo. And so your first email here should just be like simple, checking in, feel very like organic. And I'd say keep it just plain text to make sure that you're landing in the inbox. And then for the second one, this is where I'd expect you to see the highest conversions, the highest engagement, is where you add a video. And the text for this should be something that you know people are interested in. And you can take this literally from your sales, your discovery calls. Like, what are people asking specifically right before their face lights up when they hear that your product can help them do that? So it could be like, hey, when people check out, you know, your company, they often ask something. The thing is, and then you want to tease like, hey, we can do this really cool thing that's going to help you a lot in this way. Here's a 2-minute video of how it works. And then you can add a video, and I'll show you how you can do this at scale with AI, that says their first name and shows a mini product demo for them. And then just do a quick like follow up after this. And you'll notice this is a short sequence compared to like the popular 7 to 11 step sequences of a year ago, because if you're reaching out to people when there's like a trigger or intent, you might be reaching out to them like more than you otherwise would. So you don't want to send them a ton of emails right now that they could unsubscribe from. Maybe just a few right now, and then you might hit them up again in 4 months or 6 months. So keep it short, keep it sweet. This, and of course, like change it to match your voice and blah, blah, blah. Okay. In terms of the video, and I'll show you this example. Like I said, you want to use as much like personalization as possible, but you also want to make sure this is going to work at scale and be automatable. So I'd recommend creating like different videos for different segments you're reaching out to. And then you can use AI to add their name, and you can also personalize to add their website. And then the product demo should be specific for like that use case. And then of course you can embed your calendar to book meetings. I'll actually show you the one that we're sending out here. So this is for people that visit the website, and it's kind of general. So there's some more that we're doing that are more specific based on like certain actions, but this is like kind of a nice general one that still has been really effective for us. And someone please let me know if the sound doesn't come through.
Hey, Bethany, we're not catching any sound from the video. I can either have you like reshare your screen and make sure we share it with audio, or if we drop the link for people, they can go watch it.
Where can we drop the link?
If there's the comments in the top, and then we'll make sure it's also distributed on LinkedIn.
Okay. I'll share the link so you can just watch it. And you can see it later. It says connect to can I give it to you, and then can you do it? Okay.
Yep. Drop it in the private chat and we'll get it out.
Yeah. So take a look at that. And one thing I'll also note, if you watch this, is it's not the best like video in the world, but like just a quick video is often better than nothing. And it does make it feel more personal and authentic. So we'll kind of just get up and running like videos like this for all different campaigns. And it's kind of funny to look back on some that are running when you're like, technically this was a little bit long. You should have been more concise and blah, blah, blah. So don't overthink your videos and try to get them to be perfect. Just like try to send a video and see how your conversion rates increase. Okay, so the video. And then I know we're tight on time. I was going to show how you can create these like personalized videos at scale with SendSpark. Should I do it or should I stop here?
You're okay to keep going.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to show you how you can create and send AI personalized videos like that at scale. So you could have it be fully automated where, and actually I'll show you the automation that we're kind of setting up in the end. So the ideal is like what you could then set, and whether you're using Clay or HubSpot workflows or like anything else to do your automation or any email sequence, like this is one version, but it would apply for other ways you can automate things. What you basically want to do is you have your trigger, which is like that they, visited your website and, visited the pricing page or did something where you're like, hey, now it's time to reach out. We're adding a Slack notification to just keep tabs on the automation that's running. And then you can automatically generate a video in SendSpark, personalizing it at scale with AI, which I'll show you how to do in a second. And then you can automatically enroll them in a sequence that basically looks like the one I was just showing you with the emails, and it has a placeholder for where the video is going to go. So this is like the end goal, is to set this up, have this be completely automated, generating you leads while you sleep in a really effective way. And then the way that you can create the videos is in SendSpark, we have a dynamic video feature. So you would go here and then you can record one video. And instead of actually saying someone's name, like instead of saying, hi, Ben, hi, Adam, hi, whoever, if you're using the AI name personalization, you can use the placeholder word watermelon. So you'd be like, hi, watermelon, or hey, watermelon. And then that word gets replaced with your viewer's name. So, and that's English, right? We have a few other languages supported here. I'm going to just go ahead and use the sample video where I'm saying watermelon. I know you can't hear, but I'm saying watermelon, and then I've recorded the rest of a video. And you can preview the voice, make sure the AI voice clone sounds good. And you can also choose whether or not you want to have a dynamic background, which would make it look like you're recording over someone else's website. So like in the video that I sent, it was like saying, hi, Adam, and it was over the RB2B website. So you can turn this on. And you can set a fallback. So if anything happens, like they are missing a website from your CRM or something, they'll still get a nice video. So you can create this here and then also set up a landing page where you embed your calendar and can add whatever else you want here. You could be like, hi, first name. And you can set up like a nice little landing page. We have a bunch of different calendar integrations if you wanted to add your calendar so people could schedule meetings immediately after watching. And then you can just go ahead and create some videos. So, I'll just show you how this works. All you really need is the first name. And then you can, and if you wanted a special background URL, then you could add that here, but otherwise we'll just use sendspark.com. And then you can hit generate, and you'll see how many credits you'll use, and then an estimate of how long this will take. And the videos are pretty quick. Like, a video will just take a few seconds here. From here, you'll be able to preview the videos, make sure the AI sounds good the first time you're setting this up. And then you can send them out at scale. And really most email platforms we try to integrate with, you would just choose the platform you're using, in this case, like HubSpot sales sequences. and you get a little snippet that you can put in your email. So as contacts are, enrolled the same way, first name, company name, other variables in the email will change. You'll now get these AI personalized videos that are going to look just like the one I sent in the chat. So, I wanted to share this because it's kind of cool. It's like a cool way to unlock something that's very effective. That video prospecting has always been an effective strategy, but now you don't have to create a personalized video for every person. You just have your base video, and then you can generate these ones on demand and have the entire process fully automated. Okay, so that is an example pretty quickly. And just to recap some of the things that I was sharing earlier, like these are some tools that I'd recommend using, or at least using competitors of or looking into. You want to monitor signals. So Clay is great, Trigify is really good, Expandy is great for LinkedIn automation. Enrich your data. Clay is really powerful for this. There's other platforms as well. And then if you have a good CRM, I just mean like any of them, right? Like HubSpot, Salesforce, Close, make sure you can use your current lead data as well. You can generate personalized videos with SendSpark and then send email sequences. And I put Smartly and Instantly in here because I think that they've made it really easy to create high volume email infrastructure where you can just easily kind of buy domains and accounts for different reps on your team and be able to send at scale. So thank you for sticking along. If you have any questions, you can DM me on LinkedIn. Just search Bethany Stackenfeld. And if you want to try SendSpark, I'm adding a link here.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us, Bethany. It was great having you. A lot of really great insights. There's just so many ways we can use AI. And this is just another really awesome example in finding ways to automate those tiny processes so you can do more with the time you have. So I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you for sharing all your thoughts.
Thanks.
Well, thank you to everyone who attended our event. We really put these on for you guys. And it wouldn't be possible if you guys didn't attend and stream this content. Just a few more reminders. We just dropped in the LinkedIn and live all the links that you need to get to the pre-recorded sessions. We did try to keep this live session to 2 hours so you can make sure to go and watch all the other amazing content on what are the latest and greatest technology tools that people are using to drive revenue. Also, a huge shout out to all of our speakers. They really put in so much time into these presentations. They did all the figuring out so you don't have to. So give their things a try, reach out to them on LinkedIn. I know they'll really love it and appreciate it. Thank you again for joining us today at the RevTech Summit. All of this content will be available on demand after today. Thank you again.